Yo, hold the phone. This was the most WTF moment of Dr. Stone to date. Y-Man has been an absolute wild card, but to casually just almost turn the whole world back to stone by saying the diameter of the Earth, and we have that device now. It would have worked if it was close enough or more easy to hear and comprehend. But while that's insane enough to be one of the biggest moments of being like, bro, imagine ending an arc that was as stressful as this and legitimately almost turning the world to stone again, and apparently not the first time it's happened given the 300-year dude that we're going to be discussing. But the fact remains, this almost ended everything. But that's not even the craziest part of this week's episode of Dr. Stone. It's what they just established with Y-Man. Now, throughout this episode, prior to the moon reveal, I'm thinking to myself, it's gotta be aliens. Because, I mean, the idea that it could be a human, like maybe lost civilization, but you know, it's just, the thing itself, the Medusa, felt like a piece of technology. And when you see the meteor shower of death, and the fact that it wasn't just a single Medusa that came down, it was a meteor shower, almost like, and the sound effect, it sounded like a ray gun. It sounded like an alien pew pew pew, some UFO in the sky, shooting down and turning the world to stone 300 years back or so. And the idea that they trace the signal, the Y-Man's voice, which apparently is Senku's voice, which is a whole other mind trip in of itself, the fact that it's right above and it's on the moon. We can't just leave this to be. We knew Senku wanted to go to the moon anyway, but now he actually has his opponent, which will probably be the final boss, all things considered, and is basically this episode of Dr. Stone. Full live reaction to today's wonderful episode over on my Patreon if you would like to see my full uncut thoughts as I break in real time. Like, legitimately, I think most of us expected to walk into this episode having a calm episode, like a kind of like breather episode. At first, I was like, oh, you bring back Chrome, makes sense. You want to have a science duo here, slowly but surely bringing people back. I thought it was going to be wholesome. I thought it'd be similar to season 1, just the beginning of it with Taiju and Senku, but this time we would just do it with 2 science bros. And instead, they just so casually get everything caught up to speed to then casually saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to end it. We're going to say this, even before Senku said what the number meant, you knew the radius and the fact that it was like 1 second, the whole Earth would have been turned to stone. And that's like, bro, like if that thing actually has unlimited potential. Now, here's the thing. They did do a rainstorm, or Y-Man did, or they did, if it's a species, I don't know. But the fact that 300 years back or so when this dude got petrified, pretty much it was like, it was rapid fire. Like there was just these little. Now, was that because they were just shooting a certain area? Or did the technology eventually evolve? Is it limited? We don't know. We can't really put it to the test in a way. Like, I guess we probably could if we put it at a certain location and we were far away and we put a microphone right up to it. But it's like, we don't know for sure if a single Medusa is enough to cover the whole world. And we don't want to find out because, you know, that's very dangerous. At this point, though, Medusa needs to be put locked safe, buried 10 feet under, only going into that under, it's like, kind of like, you know, how when like people are studying and dealing with highly deadly diseases and germs, they have to suit up and go into like a very special made room so it doesn't come in and out. We need to have that for the Medusa. No communication, no signals getting in or out. And that's how we explore this piece of technology and what it means for the future. I'm sure Senku will do something like that, but right now he can't really deal with that as it stands. Like, this is the really cool thing about Dr. Stone, is that ultimately Senku saying his goal was to eventually fly to the moon. You think naturally he'll build into that, just given the amount he's built into over like a course of a year, give or take, right? But the fact that now his opponent, the Y-Man, you can't just leave that be, right? If you leave it to be, as we've seen now apparently from Senku, from what has happened with current present day with people having access to things like the Medusa, and most likely there's other ones throughout the world. I mean, it looked like multiple of them have been found or at least shot towards the Earth. The fact remains that 300 years ago, you know, like, this is just going to keep happening. Whether it's a cycle for a reason, I'm not sure if we're going to go like a Mass Effect Reaper situation, like trying to make it so humans don't like use up all their resources or something. Is it an experiment? Do they want Earth? We have no idea. But it seems like Y-Man is an alien life form of some sort. And if not, why the fuck is he up on the moon shooting shit down like this? And why is he trying to turn the whole Earth like this? That's my biggest question. But holy hell, I was not expecting this episode to go this crazy. I literally thought it would be a calm episode. I thought the remaining few episodes would be calm because we dealt with what I thought was the threat, forgetting about Y-Man and everything going on. But Jesus, man, like, they're not going to the moon anytime soon. They're not going to be able to go into the moon within 4 or 5 episodes. But this is going to be a bigger dream and vision than originally Senku was probably planning, because now he has to go up there to figure out what's going on. A moon arc, just imagining Senku and the gang on the moon is such a fascinating and entertaining thought, and I hope we get to see it. But either way, like, just all the characters, the little matches, like Kohaku finally getting her match up and being like, well, I'm not in a dress anymore, I move a bit better. There's just a lot of respect. Having a character pop up being like, oh my god, my master's here, 300 years goes by, but my master, oh wait, you kind of suck and you might just be a descendant of his. There's so much insanity, but I am so interested to learn more about this man's culture from 300 years back, what exactly his people knew about Y-Man, or maybe even this technology before it happened, but most importantly, what Senku's going to do with this information, and what the game plan going forward will be. All I know is we definitely need another season of Dr. Stone announced when this one does wrap up in a couple of episodes. Like, this is absolutely baffling in the best possible sense. It's just like, Dr. Stone, ever since like season 1 ended for me, I was like, this is a modern classic. It's a masterpiece. There's nothing like Dr. Stone. Stone Wars comes in, New World comes in, and it just keeps getting better. And I love the exploration of the show. I love the characters and how many characters there are. Like, I'm pretty bad with remembering characters' names, but like Dr. Stone, I can still remember Suika. I can still remember Magma. I can remember characters even if they haven't talked or done much in like 12 episodes, because this cast is that memorable. It is still a very good looking production. I hate it when I see people say like Dr. Stone looks ugly or it's not really that crazy. Like, no, Dr. Stone is very distinct aesthetically, and I think it is rather consistent for what they're aiming for. And man, like, there's just so much about this. The lore and the world building and the exploration of everything is so fascinating and unlike anything I've experienced in the anime medium. Not only just with the Bill Nye the Science Guy way of explaining science and all these amazing things that actually the author did research with people to make sure it makes sense, but most importantly, the lore about the petrification, feeling like we were so close to the biggest W, only for us to actually almost turn everyone to stone, not only just on this island, but on Earth potentially as well. It's possible one Medusa isn't enough to actually do that, but why the hell is Senku's voice being used like that? Why are these things being fired like alien ray guns? And what the fuck is going on the moon is my thoughts on this episode. But let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more of that Dr. Stone greatness to the channel. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon if you're interested, and hey, while you're over there, you'll also get a video shout out. So today we have John Salam, Lee, Six Ray, Francis, Backseat, Nine-Tailed Brush, Jadhos, and Ellie Simmerd. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.